Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Geek Dad Reports Comics You Crave. I'm Brian West.
And I'm Ryan Thomason.
And tonight, we have a very early review of a comic coming out from Image Comics. Man-Eaters, #1.
Arr.
Look at that. Look at that cover. It's amazing. It's all sparkly.
It's with all those cats' paws.
Yes.
Mm.
It's like a kitty cat revolution.
Yes. I wonder what that could mean. But we will tell you what... Well, we won't spoil it, but we're going to give you a slight idea.
This comic book is full of metaphors, and we're going to talk all about them here in a minute.
Yes. But first, let's talk about the creators. CHELSEA CAIN was the writer, artist. KATE... Oh, gosh. Why it's just got to have a hard last name? Niemczvk.
I'm going to say Niemczvk.
Niemczvk.
Niemczvk. KATE Niemczvk. You know what? KATE, if you're listening, I hope you approve. We're sorry we cannot pronounce your name properly.
Please let us know how to say it phonetically, and then we will redo something.
Until then, we hope you approve of Niemczvk.
Yes, please approve. And then the cover was done by Lia. Oh gosh, Miternique. This is
Miternique. I think that's probably pretty close.
And this actually comes out, like Ryan said, it not releasing until September 26th of this year, and the rating is a teen plus.
Yeah, so. It's not. It's definitely not. You know, it doesn't deserve an M rating, but there's a few suggestive things. Probably not for younger kids. But there's some violence and some, I don't know, reproductive questions they could have.
It's violence done in a way that's tasteful?
No, there's a couple parts where cats eat people that's pretty bloody, so I would not recommend this for small children. The T+ rating is probably pretty much spot on.
Yes. But there's a man-eating cat, Brian.
All right, well, let's talk about this comic book. We're not going to spoil everything about it, but we're going to give you a brief overview of it. So if you want to know nothing about this, well, I guess skip ahead to the end, and we'll tell you whether you should get it or not. But for everybody else, so this is a story. This is kind of an alternate universe. It's about it's a first-person perspective of a girl who's living in. She's telling a story of like I said, an alternate universe. She's living in Portland. And in this world, girls can turn into giant cats and kill people. How do they turn into giant cats and kill people, Ryan?
Well, why do you gotta leave that up to me? Well, first of all, in cat poop there is a thing that is very complicated for me to say.
Let's just say touching cat poop apparently triggered something in people that when girls, specifically...
It would cause them when they hit puberty and they start having menstrual cycles.
Yes, when they start having their period.
Them turn into a big, giant cat that will eat people.
So yes, and so basically the world has... The government has started putting things into waters and hormones, giving girls hormone injections to subdue the kitty cat awakening inside these young girls.
Yes.
and you know,
it's so the thing is though, it's like it sounds shitty, but when you think about it, like, they would probably really try to do something.
Oh no, this comic is very realistic if this were to happen. But but anyway, that's kind of what the basics of this is. Young girls have their periods and could possibly turn into giant everyone eating cats. And they have suppressed all young ladies' periods, and they are trying to control their...
So if you're already like 20 or 30 or whatever, then apparently it only affects very young girls.
Because of their hormones or something like that. So the government is going on a slam campaign about all boys should watch out for young man-eating girls and their unpredictable hormones and menstrual cycles. There's a lot of good warning ads that they put in here.
I've spent a lot of time reading the ads, that the little thing that they made at the very front, at the very beginning, and then they have the ones out at the very end.
So So when I started reading this, I thought, oh, this is kind of a cool idea. Kids turn into, people turn into cats and eat people. I mean, there's a murder that starts and everybody freaks out again because somebody died. And they do a really good job. Chelsea does a really good job of setting up this universe where right from the beginning, you really feel like you know this universe already, right? You don't feel lost. In a lot of comic books, when they're setting up an alternate universe, it takes a while to get there. And even by the end, you seem confused. Very much by the end of the first episode or the first issue, you know this world. This world feels lived in. The artwork is fantastic, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But you feel like this is a world that people live in, that you understand. And even though there's some crazy stuff going on, it all makes sense. And I really enjoyed how fast they introduced you to this alternate world and how much you were sucked in right from the beginning. But a couple pages in, you start realizing that this is not only an alternate take on something, but this is a very big metaphor for... for women's, the way that people feel about young girls and their reproductive systems and their control of their own, body parts.
Yeah. It's hard to talk about this as two white males. So, we'll just say we're trying our best. We both have daughters and not cop out, but I will say that how many first issues have we read that the story didn't really make a lot of sense, and you can tell that they're just trying to set it up so if you read like the first trade, then you'll kind of understand. But this was the first comic in a while that we read that the story gets set up and you're ready for the next one.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. This is one of my favorite new comics already. Like I was sucked in right from the first. I mean, I'm going to talk about the artwork for a second. The artwork...
I'll be honest, the artwork, I mean, the writing's really good, but the artwork is what really drew me in.
Well, I think they work really well to each other. So, like, they have these full panel right here where it's one scene, it's a building, but everybody's doing something, and it really fleshes this universe out. It makes you...
Do you see what all the other people are saying?
Yeah.
Can you read that?
Yeah, when they're singing a Weem Away. In the jungle of mine. I mean, it's just little detailed touches like that. I mean, the art, Kate and Chelsea work so... I hope they're friends in real life because they seem like they are in this comic book because they seem like two people who know each other very well, and it's just... everything. The art style works perfectly with this story. I love the art. It's beautiful. It's flashy. It's colorful. It helps tell the story. But like I said, I love this comic book. And like Ryan said, we're two old white guys with a lot of subject matter that ends up with young teenage girls' periods that would probably make a lot of people feel uncomfortable. I never felt uncomfortable with this story either. I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't usually make me feel uncomfortable in general, but this is the first comic book I've ever read that actually has underwear, a girl's panties that has blood in it from her menstruation cycle, right? Which... sounds gross on the surface if that's, if you're a guy, but honestly, it makes complete sense in this comic book, and it's just really well done. This is a very uniquely female-voiced comic book, but I love that it's also not only for girls, right? They do it in a way that everyone, like I said, we're just two old guys, and I love this comic. This is one of my new favorite comic books. It is... But like I said, it is a uniquely female voice, and I think this is what happens when you get a lot of different creators. You get different looks at things, and I can totally see, I don't know what the inspiration for this is, but I can imagine Chelsea one night, maybe he had a couple cocktails and somebody made a lewd comment about, a girl's anatomy and said something, cat-like, and it just sprang to her, like, you know what? I'm tired of people talking about, oh, we're going to go in a rage on our period and eat people. You know what? What would happen if it was a comic book where a girl had her period, did actually turn into a giant cat, and ate somebody? I love it. I love the idea. And not only that, I love that Chelsea and Kate found a way to make this work.
Yeah, that's what I really... it's something that it could have easily have gone in a different direction.
Yeah.
I think
easily.
What they decided to do with the comic was 100% the right way to do it. Like Brian, I enjoyed this comic. I will read the next one.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for the next one.
I really want to see where they go with it. I really like having something that, I mean, not that I always felt like really uncomfortable, but it's something that pushes what I'm used to reading. And so this really put me into a new perspective on what I've been reading lately. So
can I just say one of my favorite panels, honestly, was there's a panel where she's talking about our female lead is talking about her dad, right? Her dad is this kind of goofy single dad. He's a cop. She's kind of making fun of, like, my dad's got the typical, he's got the dad, the goofy dad t-shirt, the goofy dad phrases, his favorite things are X-Files and Star Trek and all these other things. And then she says, but I could tell you about my dad after he was divorced, and it showed him, like, devastated. She goes, I could show him at work, and it shows him as a cop. She goes, but I'm going to show you what I think of when I think my dad. And it's him throwing her up in the air when she's a little girl. And honestly, I have 2 young daughters, and I hope that my girls think of me the way that this writer, clearly, I'm guessing inspired by her own father, thought about her dad, or how a young girl, or how a girl thinks about her father, right? So that got me. That was the first time, like, I'm like, you know what? This lady is really giving us her perspective on something that I've never thought of that way, right? So I don't know. I really enjoyed this comic book a lot.
Yeah, I cannot disagree with you on this. I think we are both in 100% agreement. This is something that you guys should definitely be picking up and reading on September 26th.
Yes.
And I would not wait for the trade. I would get the first issue, see if you
buy this monthly.
See if you agree with us. We are not wrong on this, so you can't really
support good comic books. This is one of them. I lost it for a second. And on top of that, if things like periods make you queasy, get over it. This story is very much a metaphor for something else, but like Ryan said, it's done perfectly in a way that's not heavy-handed. It's not looking down or judging people. It's just making a statement in a way that's fun, comical, and goddamn enjoying. So check it out.
Really,
yeah, Man-Eater's #1, our new favorite comic book, available September 26th on print or on digital. Honestly, I would recommend print. I like the digital, but the way that it looks like full page layouts, it was kind of hard to read on the digital. So I would suggest just buying this from your local comic store. Pre-order now. Image Comics.
Yeah,
Man-Eater's
get it.
#1.
Pre-order it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, everybody, stay awesome.
And don't forget to stay nerdy.
And read lots of comic books.
All the comic books.
It's good for your soul and your spirit.
Especially man-eaters.
Yeah. Later, guys and gals.